We sold our company for $50 million and it was a nice exit. It took 9 years or 8 years, whatever, to do it. And if you would look at year one, made $14,000. I was working harder that year than any year. Surely more than a year ago when we were making millions of dollars. I was working way harder. It was way more stress. I had much less belief in myself than I do now, back to all those early moments. Right. And you look at, okay, if I would look at that, instead of saying I made $14,000 that year, if you had a company in, let's just use easy math, 10 years that was worth $50 million, then if you take 10 years, I actually made $5 million that year worth of value in my life. If I take the 10-year stretch, the total value extracted from it was 50. That effort in year one was the building block that got you to the end. Really, the value of that's not 14,000, it's 5 million.
God,
right?
That is, I have never heard somebody articulate it as like an amortization schedule like that. That is so on point and so beautiful. That, damn it, man. I was not expecting that. Like, that's such a great point. Yes, if you look at a 10-year time frame, there's no way you get the 50 million without day one. You can't say day one was useless if it was absolutely the number one thing that got you to the 50. Because you know, the 50 doesn't come without day one, day two, day three, day 20, day whatever, right? Day 3,000, right? I mean, imagine how frustrating it would have been if, like, for everybody that gives up on things. And look, like the idea is like, don't give up. It's like, yeah, look, sometimes you should give up. Like sometimes your baby's ugly. That's fine. Like you should know when it's like, or figure out, okay, if I want to keep doing this, if I don't like the results in some time frame, like you have to have self-assessment. Are you getting better?
Sure.
Right? Because even if you're not getting results from one particular metric, if you're getting better, then that's a different metric. Like if you look at some of my first interviews, oh my God. Like I don't have a background in audio video. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
right?
but you just did it. That's the point.
And you every time an episode would come out, I'd be like, something's wrong with that. Like the hell's wrong with it? I don't even have the vocabulary. It's like, look, I'm not a big wine guy, but like if I went wine tasting, I don't even have the vocabulary to describe wine. Yeah, and it was the same thing with me assessing the cinematic qualities. There's like, I don't know 100%. Like there's like, it looks like gritty in the background. What's the gritty? So I'd call an ex-student who I really liked and I gave him a dump truck of value. So whenever I call Andre picks up my phone and he was like, just studying film, like really bright. And he's like, oh, it's your ISO. I was like, are you speaking English? Like, I don't know what ISO is. Right? So we'd have these conversations and I would keep learning. So even though I didn't have the metric of like followers and views, I had the metric of I'm getting better. Right. And again, I couldn't be here now today producing things for, national level senators and congressmen and governors and things like that if I hadn't gone through day one and day two, episode 3, 4, 5, 6. Like,
yeah, that gritty third episode is what got you to here.
It was so rough.
Right? It got you 0 followers. It might have even got you negative followers, right? But
guaranteed.
But if you didn't have that experience, then none of this would be possible.
Bro, I'm getting pumped up right now. Like I'm getting fired up. Like let's get back at it. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000. Yeah. Like let me ask you something. How did you know that though? Did you have mentors? What happened with me, not like you, is I graduate from Cal, I start my tutoring company, and my first tutoring client was a retiring real estate broker. And she, after like a few months of watching me, she was like, okay, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but like he's somebody who is trying to learn and trying to understand. And I didn't come from money. I didn't understand money at all.
Yeah.
And she saw me, like I went to Barnes & Noble one day and bought like a 2-foot high stack of every financial book, right? Sweet. I like read Kiyosaki and then he had a bunch of recommendations at the end of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I bought them all, read them all. Just like,
love that. Right, immediate action, dude.
Immediate. Boom. And I was like, I'm learning something today, baby, like right now. So she saw that, and instead of going, I realized my avenue to financial freedom was going to be through real estate, and I used the tutoring instead of leveraging up tutoring as a lot of people do or attempt to do. Like, listen, I don't have a lot of skill sets. I can make fun of 16-year-olds real well. Managing people, I don't know if that's my jam. So for me, I was like, okay, why don't you just leverage your own capacity in tutoring and utilize that for hard assets. That was my avenue towards longer term production. That was my thing. And I only knew that because I started asking questions of those people, the real estate people, because I started hanging out in those circles. I was like, I don't know what this is. Can you explain to me? Offering value. Can I take you out to lunch? I'd love to buy you a coffee. Hey, I really like that thing. Could I ask you a question about it? really wanting to learn.
And that's how you got your mentors. Same way
Successful people. That's right. Successful people want to teach you. If somebody's successful, they love telling somebody how they did it.
Amen to that.
So just ask them, like, I'd love to know what you did. So what my question is to you, at 19, you drop out of college. What was it, like, what mentor or what reason did you have to believe, like, all right, I can do this, or like, this is the right path?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm huge on mentorship. For me, it was when I was 17 years old, I had a teacher that made me read a book. He said, Josh, this is not going to be fair. I don't want to hear any complaints. You're going to read this book. It was called Leadership and Self-Deception. And he said, you're going to read this book, and it's kind of like a business book, kind of a leadership book. Read the book and give a 45-minute presentation next week, this time, to the class. And nobody else has to do it, so I don't want to hear anything. But if you don't do it, you're going to fail the class. Oh. I'm like, first of all, can you even do that? Like, is this illegal to do?
I'm going to call my mom right now.
But he's like, don't you dare, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so I did it. And at the time, I had a very strong work ethic, thanks to my dad growing up on a farm. Had a very strong work ethic, had a decent attitude, but I thought reading was dumb. Like, I just thought, I'm a kid, I'm outside doing hunting, fishing, all that kind of stuff. And it changed my life. I read the book. I actually loved the book. I loved the topic. I loved personal development, business, all that. And I loved presenting. Now, I wouldn't have ever said that out loud. Like, I love presenting to the class. But internally, I knew that I was well suited for it. And it felt good. And people got value from it. And I was confident, and it gave me confidence. I read 54 books after that in 12 months, a little more than one a week, on personal development, business, sales, leadership, all that. And fell in love with that. And that changed my mindset from super small town, which is nothing wrong with that. There's good qualities, but it expanded my worldview. And I said, okay, if these 100 people in history can go from where they were and they can achieve the heights, then why would I think that I'm any different? Why can't I just go apply these skills and start at the bottom and work my way up, like Andrew Carnegie, like Rockefeller, like Henry Ford, like all these presidents that started with nothing and then became the president of the United States? Why can't we do something like that? And then that led me to some mentors in the business world. Age 19, I dropped out, went and sold insurance, made $14,000 my first year, but then I got some traction. 45 the next year, 80 the next year, 160, about double every year. And about when I was at 160,000, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I'm 22 years old at the time. I hired a marketing coach. And I said, if all these people can utilize social media to make all this money, why not me? And we started doing webinars and Facebook ads and YouTube ads, and I just skyrocketed.